Today on Capitol Hill, victims and family members from both Uvalde, Texas and Buffalo, New York are testifying before Congress. One of the people testifying is 11-year-old Mia Cerrillo. And let me just tell you, hearing this little girl's story and what she went through, it's not easy, but we all need to hear it. Take a listen.
Shot my teacher and told my teacher goodnight and shot her in the head. Thought he was going to come back to the room, so I grabbed the blood and put it all over me.
That's where we're at. I want people to see that. I wish we put even more gruesome stories out there and the reality of what it looks like after this massacre, wherever it is, happens. People need to see that because they turn a blind eye. All of a sudden their politics step in, or this steps in, or whatever it is, and they're like, they don't see the repercussions, the ripples, the effect of years, decades that it has. They don't see that. They look at their phones, they go back to their world, and they just spew out the ignorant information. And people need to see more of that. As sad as it is, I'm not empathetic because I very much am on this show, but people need to see more. We need to put more of that out there so people realize what destruction that causes.
I couldn't agree more, and I'll give you just a little background. Right now, she's speaking to Congress 2 weeks after covering herself in blood. I don't know how you deal with trauma like that and then go on to testify in front of Congress. And I thought a story that really explained a lot said CNN came to her house to interview her, and she said, I don't want to be on camera, which is reasonable, but she made a special mention, I don't want a man to interview me. I don't want a man.
That's the collateral damage. She's afraid of men now because the shooter was a man. Yeah, I just don't know. I can only pray that this will push the needle, right? That some senators who are not for common sense gun laws will hear her testimony and they'll have an aha moment. I pray. But Al, I want to get your take on Matthew McConaughey. As we mentioned, he was born in Uvalde, Texas, and he was at the White House yesterday, and he gave a very emotional speech calling for gun reform. If you missed it, watch.
Look, we heard from so many people, right? Families of the deceased, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, Texas Rangers, hunters, Border Patrol, and responsible gun owners who won't give up their Second Amendment right to bear arms. And you know what they all said? We want secure and safe schools, and we want gun laws that won't make it so easy for the bad guys to get these damn guns. We need responsible gun ownership. Responsible gun ownership. We need background checks. We need to raise the minimum age to purchase an AR-15 rifle to 21. Can both sides rise above? Can both sides see beyond the political problem at hand and admit that we have a life preservation problem on our hands?
Wow. As he mentioned, Matthew and his wife spent last week visiting with the families of victims in Texas, and he got emotional at one point talking about his experience.
Maite wore green high-top Converse with a heart she had hand-drawn on the right toe because they represented her love of nature. Camilla's got these shoes. Can you show these shoes, please? Wore these every day. These are the same green Converse on her feet that turned out to be the only clear evidence that could identify her after the shooting. How about that?
That could be any one of our children. Al, do you think his emotional speech, seeing those Converse, will change people's minds?
I don't know if changing somebody's mind is something we can go after, Sam. I think the people that are anti-guns, anti-school shootings, I think we've made our bones. We've let people know we're not into that. And I think that in terms of the numbers of people, for the first time, it's weird. It should be something we're excited about. We're seeing percentages like 85%, 90% of people want to change this. And Sam, what I've been saying for a long time, and it doesn't stick with the audience because it's such a weird word, but we are under a minoritarian rule. That means a few people, 9 super elderly people in the Supreme Court, couple super elderly senators that will never have to send their kids to a public school. They're making decisions for all of us. They'll throw a couple distractors out there about, well, something about Chicago and something, more guns kill, whatever. And they're just waiting, just like the Uvalde police is waiting for the news cameras to roll out of there so they can start to harass and attack the citizens and intimidate them into not speaking. So what we need to do is either make a decision that we're done crying, we're done hitting desks, we're done doing anything but voting these people out that are not going to change their mind, because these senators will not move because they're scared that they're going to be voted out. And quite frankly, they probably will be, because when it's time to vote, those guns is ingrained in a lot of people's DNA. So the fact that you're talking about ending that or like touching that in any way, it's a no-go zone. I don't care if there's 250 kids. So we need to get rid of those senators, or we're going to be looking at this for a long time. Those are the only options. We don't have any more options anymore. We're out of options. We just have now converts with blood on them.
Listen, I know we want to get to this next week, but I'm proud of Matthew McConaughey. I'm proud of his wife Camilla for speaking out. You talk about those people. I'm telling you, there's going to be a story about Matthew McConaughey that's going to come out in the next week, because with that speech, the charisma he showed in that speech, the leadership he showed in that speech, the compassion he showed in that speech, bringing both parties together, not having one side of political pressure, just talking common sense, not putting anybody down, and inspiring people. That's what I felt when I saw that. But now here's my thing. What did Al just say? Here's a distraction. Some story's going to come out. Matthew McConaughey on set 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and then that's going to stifle him from the power that he's starting to get with his political.
You're absolutely right. It's already happened. People are calling him a hypocrite. People are bringing up some of the characters that he played in movies that glorified guns. What would you say to that?
I'd say they're insane.
Yeah.
If that's what conversation you want to have with me, what he just said, and his character, which is not real life, he's an actor. People are confused about reality and celebrity, very much so. We don't even talk about that problem. It's a huge problem. And they want to say his character was carrying a fake gun, therefore he's a hypocrite. That's the battle. That's how much you want to die on this hill, instead of just seeing the middle ground and say, listen, we both could compromise. I don't know one person. I've talked to many people, like just in my circle, that have guns. My father has a gun. A lot of people have guns. I'm going to get myself a gun.
We are gun owners.
Everyone is like, man, I would do whatever. I don't need. What do you need an AK-47 for?
Right.
What do you need a machine gun for? Don't tell me to get rid of raccoons. Those are the same people saying Matthew McConaughey has a gun in True Detectives. You're a moron.
Yeah.
And I don't want you. I don't know.
Didn't Ronald Reagan play a cowboy?
Yeah.
So what? He can't be president? Stop.
Right. No. Well said, Jeff. Well said.